and this is Handmade. So with the holidays coming up, there is a project I've been wanting to try for a long time now. I live in an apartment. We don't have a fireplace, we don't have a mantel, but I just think a fireplace with stockings is the coziest Christmas decoration in the world. So today I'm going to attempt to turn a TV box into a fireplace. Obviously not a real fireplace. Please do not light a real fire if you try this project, but it kind of gets the idea across. I'm gonna warn you, this was a big project. It took so much blood, sweat, and tears. Well, actually there wasn't any blood. Definitely a lot of sweat. Maybe a couple of tears. Definitely a few hot glue gun burns. But I think it came out really well in the end. So here's how I did it. Start by measuring out the spot where you're going to put your fireplace. I'm not sharing specific measurements here since everyone's will probably be a little bit different. Then you'll need a large box. I'm using a TV box that I would not let my roommate throw away because I knew that I could make something out of it. Start cutting the box open so you end up with giant pieces of cardboard. I'm using a saw because I'm extra like that, but a sharp utility knife would also work. Then use a utility knife to trim off the rough edges. Our TV actually came with this 1-inch tall cardboard and foam piece that's perfect for the base of my fireplace. So I'm taping that into place, and then I find it easier to visualize once we're in the actual space. So I taped the cardboard to the wall and drew a rough sketch of the shape of my fireplace. Then I put it back onto the floor, evened out the lines, and cut the whole thing out. Now here's a little trick to get the curved inside of the fireplace even. Cut out the shape first with just straight lines. Then cut out half of the curve, flip it over, and trace it on the other side and cut it out again. So I think that's looking pretty good. Now it's time to make the sides of the fireplace. I decided to make mine 10 inches wide, so I just cut a bunch of rectangles for the sides and the inside. And before I go any further, I just want to say there are a lot of ways to do this project. If you look online, a lot of people do it by stacking up boxes, which reduces a lot of the cutting. But I only had a bunch of random boxes that were all different sizes. I didn't have enough to actually build a structure out of, so I needed to cut out all of my pieces separately. Okay, so once you have your sides cut out, you can use some tape to get them attached. And then, to really help stabilize it, I cut these pieces of cardboard that I scored on one side so that they could fold to a 90-degree angle. I used hot glue to attach them, and it just makes the connection between the two pieces a whole lot stronger. And then, to really keep them in place, I also glued in some right-angle triangles. You can engineer this however you want. This is just what I found gave the strongest support. For the curved part, use some thinner cardboard and bend it before you glue it down so that it follows that curve as you go. I also glued in a few smaller tabs here to make sure it was really well connected. Alright, so it's looking pretty good. So I just attached the outside sides the same way. Pro tip here, have a lot of hot glue gun sticks on hand because I went through basically my entire stash making this project. So once the sides are on there, it's finally starting to look like a fireplace. This part would have been really boring for you guys to watch, but I cut down a bunch of other boxes to make cardboard supports to fit inside so that the whole thing doesn't collapse when we put stuff on top. Okay, so now it's time to make the mantel. This is way easier than the fireplace since it's just a simple rectangle shape. Now, if you can drill into your walls, it might be easier to mount a shelf to use as the mantel and put the fireplace underneath. But I can't do that since I'm renting this apartment, so I just made mine out of cardboard. To help stabilize it, I glued in some supports to the center. And then I covered all of the seams on the entire thing with tape so that it would look cleaner once I painted it. But before painting, you guys, there are like 800 steps to this project. I'm so sorry. I also used more tape and more hot glue to attach the mantel to the top of the fireplace. Okay, so now that we have the entire structure built, I brought it outside to spray paint. Once that was dry, it's time for the best part, decorating. Well, first I used painter's tape to tape black paper to the wall so it looked like it had a back. Then I cut down cardstock into 5.5 by 2 inch pieces and I rounded the corners to get brick shapes. I only did one here on camera, but I actually cut out like tons and tons and tons of these while listening to a podcast. So then I just used double-sided tape to attach those all the way around. I like using double-sided tape here because it's not permanent, so I can take them off and decorate the whole thing differently next year if I want to. So to finish it off, I draped a piece of fabric on top and added some of my favorite decorations. Using fabric on top means that I can pin my stockings directly to the fabric, so I don't have to glue anything to the fireplace itself. And finally, obviously, I can't light a real fire in there. Please don't light a real fire in there. That would be very, very dangerous. Instead, I filled the fireplace with gold decorations and fairy lights in glass jars. And we are finally done. It was a lot of work, but I think it was definitely worth it because this is 100% the coziest Christmas setup I've ever made. I cannot believe it is only cardboard and hot glue under there, and since I didn't attach anything permanently to the fireplace, I can take all of the decorations down and style it completely differently once Christmas is over. So before I go, I also just want to mention that this project was inspired by a similar one that the Crafty Lumberjacks did last year. I love their version of it, and I'm going to link their blog post right down below. They did it a little differently than I did, so you can just follow whichever tutorial fits the supplies that you have. So, I would love to know, when do you put up your Christmas tree? I always end up putting mine up even before Halloween, just because I need to film videos like these. But I just love having it up for all of November and December. But maybe you're a Christmas purist, you always wait until after Thanksgiving. Why don't you let me know in a comment right down below. Don't forget to like this video. Please like this video. This video took so many hours to make. That project is the biggest project I've done in a long time. And don't forget to subscribe for new DIY videos every single week. I'll see you all next time.